Hello, Void. Phoebe Rizzo back once more. Now, I've taken a long time off from perusing the Universal collections, so about time to get back to them. Admittedly, the long time frame has caused some of my memories of the previous couple films to become muddled, but I'm doing my best to try to put the canon together as best as I can, which this film does not make easy. Alright, back in my Wolfman box, we have Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Okay, so this is the Universal's first monster pair-up movie, and it was a pretty good success at the time. This one was circa 1943, and pretty much rejuvenated the Universal Monsters mythology, I guess, and helped keep the studio afloat. Alright, so it's well made, for the most part, very well acted, but I have a few issues and confusions with the film overall. But, well, first let's cover the plot line. Despite both monsters appearing in the title, this is primarily a Wolfman film. Now, the original Wolfman, Larry Talbot, if you recall him, perished at the end of The Wolfman, being killed by his own father with a silver cane. This movie takes place 4 years later and begins in the Talbot Crypt, where some grave robbers are just coming in to grave rob. And I guess they're coming in particularly looking for Lawrence Talbot, because he's rich, I guess. I don't know, they glanced around the whole mausoleum, but they just were looking for him in particular. I think they thought he was buried with something expensive. Anyway, they happen to be in here on the night of a full moon. They open the casket, and out pops a werewolf ready to eat them. How he's suddenly alive again after 4 years lying in a tomb, I couldn't tell you. This movie doesn't really go into that. Most of the movie is, admittedly, Lawrence Talbot trying to find a way to die because he's come to the conclusion that he can't die. Now, he was able to kill the werewolf that bit him back in The Wolfman. So, why he is unable to die and the previous werewolf was able to, I don't know. They were pretty much killed in a similar fashion of being beaten with a silver cane. So, I can't really tell you how how this is supposed to work. And that's one of my major problems with the film is why he went into this weird suspended animation instead of dying and just popped out suddenly 4 years later just fine. Anyway. After realizing his predicament and with several doctors trying to figure out who he is, despite because he's claiming to be a dead man, he runs off, meets up with the fortune teller lady who was the mother of the previous werewolf that bit him, and those two go on a adventure across Europe trying to find a cure. They decide to track down Dr. Frankenstein, who, mastery over life and death, should be able to help the Wolfman die. Well, this movie is set after several of the other Frankenstein films have already come to pass. But then Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein have all happened. So, which means most Frankensteins are dead and gone, and this film does keep that up. Now, that said, he tries to get an audience after looking around the castle and finding the Frankenstein monster, now played by Bela Lugosi. What I think they were trying for in this, originally, as Lon Chaney, who is Lawrence Talbot again, has also played the Frankenstein monster. He was originally going to be trying to do both in this film, but they decided that the makeup was going to be too difficult to keep changing him back and forth between werewolf and Frankenstein monster, so they got uh, Bela Lugosi, which is an interesting twist since at the end of Ghost of Frankenstein, Bela Lugosi was trying to get his brain into the Frankenstein monster. So, we now have this Igor Frankenstein monster combo, and he's assisting mostly just by pointing and grunting around trying to find the notes for Dr. Frankenstein. Upon failing that, Lawrence Talbot tries to get in touch with the remaining descendant, Elsa Frankenstein, who was, if I recall, married to the Doctor in Ghost of Frankenstein. Now, she's played by a different actress here, mostly from what I hear because Lon Chaney had a shared romantic screen time with that actress in a different movie, and they didn't want to do this weird typecast romance thing between them, since Elsa Frankenstein and Lawrence Talbot seemed to start hitting it off in a weird fashion. Anyway, they all start working together, along with the doctor from that was treating his wounds when he was found after his first werewolf rampage. And they all start trying to figure out how to kill the monster and kill the Wolfman. But the doctor does the inevitable science I must know and supercharges the monster, leading to a fight between the monster and the Wolfman before a dam breaks and washes everything away. Okay, so fight between the Wolfman and Frankenstein was fun to watch. And the whole movie, you really feel for Lawrence Talbot. Lon Chaney is acting his ass off in this film, and you really feel for the guy trying to just views himself as a danger to everyone around him and just wants to find a way to remove that as a problem. Now, my main problem was the explanation of why the Wolfman can't die. They don't explain that, and I find that a problem. Also, there are some issues with Bela's portrayal of the Frankenstein monster. Now, in the original script and original first print of the movie, Bela had lines as Igor in the monster and he was eventually wanted to use his immortal body to control the world. But apparently that didn't test very well because Bela's accent coming out of the monster, I guess, was usually met with laughter on the test audiences, so their solution was just to delete all his dialogue, as well as several scenes. Now, the portrayal comes off as okay, but at the end of the last movie, they talked a little bit about the monster going blinded from the accident and was using the now stereotypical arms outstretched Frankenstein walk to fumble around. Now, he does that in this movie, but there's supposed to be some lines of dialogue from the monster indicating that he was blind as a side effect of having Igor's brain transplanted into him. But without that, he just is stumbling around, looking like he couldn't see, but is just still doing the arms outstretched watch for no apparent reason, which looks weird. Another thing I had was the abruptness of the ending. I was okay with having the dam wash down on this to cool off the monsters. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But the whole build-up was this one villager was so sure that this was going to come, that the Frankenstein was evil and was going to kill us all, so he was determined to do something as a drunken belligerent villager. But everyone kept downplaying him for his Frankenstein obsession. Then he's the one who pretty much goes up there, destroys a dam, and washes things away, despite everyone trying to realizing too late that, oh, he's going to go do that, but try to rush up to stop him. But they never do any follow-through on what happened to that guy. There's no comeuppance, because he's just insufferable when he's on, and he's supposed to be, so he's doing a good job. But that was the lack of resolution on that was a bit frustrating. Alright, so that all said, the film does come together, for the most part, very nicely. It's got some technical issues to keeping it from being great, but I can still easily give this one a 6 MacGuffins. It's fun seeing the monsters meet and face off. There's some good chemistry between Elsa Frankenstein and Larry Talbot, and Lon Chaney's performance alone is worth the time of the movie. Make effects are, as always, great, though it is weird seeing Bela's face on the Frankenstein monster. It was very reminiscent of his Igor portrayal, which I know is intentional, but it looks very strange seeing it on the monster. Alright, I think that's everything I have to for this one. I think I still have at least one more Frankenstein movie and a whole bunch of Dracula that I haven't even touched on. Not to mention, I've got the collection of Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I could give a rewatch to. Most of the Werewolf and Frankenstein movies I haven't actually seen up until I'm doing these, so it's fun to actually go back and watch the classics. I do highly recommend giving them a spin if you're a horror fan or just like old school cinema. All right, have a good night.